The two teams that we've sort of talked a little bit about performing under par, England and then obviously Scotland, they're facing each other in the Calcutta Cup. What are we going to see from that game?
Scotland win.
Scotland.
Really? It's got that bad.
No. But I find this, I find it quite funny that we chuckle and we say, really, a Scotland win? Are Scotland that bad? I think that they're 1% away from beating the likes of an average England on any week.
But don't you raise your game for that sort of?
That's the thing.
But who's going to raise their game?
But I don't think they will. I think they have a fantastic front row, Scotland, and their second row, I think, is if England's second row performs like that in 2 weeks' time. I
agree with you that Scotland aren't that far away, but I just don't think England will play quite that badly again. I think England will do just enough. But I do agree with you that it will be far closer than most people think. And I would not be that surprised by a Scotland win.
I think it'd be attritional as well. It'd be kept. It'd be kept in the pack.
Scoring will be in penalties.
Is this the kind of game that we expect? Because we're talking about it a little bit negatively, obviously, both teams. Is this the type of game that we expect to see from both teams? In fact, we would obviously like to see both teams performing at a far better level.
I think England will try a running game. I think they should try a running game because they have the physical presence over the Scottish backs. I think they'll miss a trick if they don't. Whether you play Bad Barrett, who's one-dimensional, but just to purely beat up their centres. I think they have the power. Joseph and Watson, I think it is, are both phenomenal, have phenomenal feet. They are big chaps, tall and quite broad. And I think that the Scottish backs, and Hogg, okay, he's a great player, great feet, great handling.
Problem is they're so reliant on him.
Yeah,
but if you pound him with the English backs, all he's going to do is get incredibly tired. And soon enough, the back three for Scotland will wilt, like spinach in a pan. I mean, I make that kind of comparison because I think that is where England will do.
England won't do that, though,
do England look good enough to really pull off that kind of running?
No,
that's the thing. They won't.
They're definitely not confident enough, but they might step up to the plate. They have got 2 weeks now where the limelight has pretty much been shone on their faults. And within this 2-week period, I think we are going to see the England World Cup team develop or not. We're going to see where we've got.
What I would say is, if Scotland are going to win it, they're going to have to just get that 1% that we're talking about. If they get a penalty, like in that situation, they've got to learn, because they did it against Wales as well. They've got to do those basic things, and if they do those right and they stick to it, then the other thing is Twickenham's going to get very apprehensive, because you know what England rugby fans are like. They'll turn up expecting to win 40.
Interesting.
But they'll also get very quiet, don't they?
I didn't know that Scotland hadn't won in 32 years at Twickenham. That's an interesting fact.
That's an interesting fact.
But there's always a time for these to turn around.
32 years later,
is that the Welshman hoping and praying just to see England?
Let's face it, I'm sure that us three here would like to see our teams and then anyone that play England win. But I think
all with our strong English accents, our teams.
Yeah, no, exactly. But I think realistically, England will not play an expansive running game. What have we learned over the last 15 years of English rugby is that when they should really throw themselves into a match, 2003 World Cup, what have we got? We've instead of gone from a nice wide expansive game that they played in previous matches to narrow it right down and rely on drop kicks.
Hard. I think we obviously don't account for the fact that we've talked a lot about England's confidence. I know we've slightly moved away from the Scotland-Italy game, but we have talked about England's confidence. What damage the press really does do to a squad's confidence, because this, I mean, it doesn't matter whether you're looking at the very light Daily Mail pages or you're looking at a Telegraph's situation, read up on it. They really have hammered England's performance.
And I think that'll probably contribute to the reasons why they won't try that running game, because they're so terrified of if they try that running game and it doesn't work, they'll get slammed. Lancaster will go out with a very narrow,
really
simple
position to be
in. And it's quite sad, though, sorry to interrupt, but I think now is your time.
It's desperately sad, in fact.
It is. You have how many months away? 8 months away from the World Cup. What you should really be doing now is telling go in at half-time, say they're 6-all, and just say,
this is your time to work stuff out.
Just run. Take it as a Sunday afternoon, play it down the park. Just
the thing is,
throw the ball.
Because it's such a dangerous thing to do. I think it's really to get to. This is a crunch match now. England need to front up in the pack completely and just own that part of the pitch, and then get to 50, 60 minutes, then go, right, now we've got some breathing space, let's take the pressure off ourselves.
So you think they're going to go in playing safe, basically?
They'll go in playing safe, but they need to do that so they can take the pressure off themselves.
Security.
Because the thing is, their pack isn't
They did the pack against Wales. They nullified the Welsh pack.
I mean, I'm glad to see that we all agree, as always.
The one thing I would say is I'm with you, which is I think that the pressure that has been put on them will mean that Lancaster's attitude will be like, look, I don't care about running rugby. I just want to win this game so that I don't have everything on my back. And I agree with you that that's a shame. He'll go back to English rugby and penalties, and they'll win it. They might well win it, and it'll be stodgy and it'll be horrible, but it'll get everyone off his back.
Cardiff 2013.
You know what? There's something and everything we could talk about all night with these games, isn't there?
There definitely is. I mean, we can actually take a quick look at the table of the current table after round 3 matches. As we can see there, Ireland sit nice and pretty at the top.
Michael's grinning, by the
way. It's still in there on point. But our correspondent from TalkSport rightly pointed out that England can still win this tournament. It's really there's only perfectly
I
perceivable.
think that's less likely than Wales.
Yeah, true, because Wales have got to go to Italy, and if Wales can get on the game, they can put some points on them and then put some. But they've got to beat Ireland first. That's the pivotal fixture.
Yeah, let's not jump over the island. And the other thing is, let's look at the points difference. I mean, this isn't football, granted. But what have we seen over the last 2-3 years? Yeah. Points difference makes it.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here. So if not in an ideal world, in a realistic, on that table and how they're playing, how do you think this is going to finish up? Let's give us from top to bottom.
From
your point of view, without putting favourites first. Yeah. Keep your bias out.
Honestly, I see. This pains me to say because. He knows well, and you know we're going to see the Wales-Ireland match in a couple of weeks. I think Ireland will probably come top.
Looks likely, right?
Yeah.
Grand Slam? Is that a Grand Slam?
Yeah. I mean, I think if Ireland topple Wales, they'll run away with it. In terms of next, I think, well, it'd be difficult because I think France are going to beat England in Twickenham.
Interesting.
I think probably Wales, depending how that match goes and depending how much we lose by, I think Wales then get above. And then it's really a free-fall around the bottom. I think Italy won't finish last.
I think so. You're thinking you're putting Scotland down there?
I don't.
Because Scotland have got to win a game to finish last.
Yeah, but I hate to say it because I think they're the most improved team over the last 3 years.
But it just isn't looking likely.
But they are so close yet so far. You know, they need to stop thinking about scoring a try and just let the feet and the ball do the work. I think it'll be Ireland, Wales, England. I can't even do the maths. Probably Italy, France, Scotland. And I think it'd be a fantastic year.
Do you think France will become below Italy then?
Well, if
they lose to them,
if Italy beat France, but France beat England, and then whoever France play in the last ones lose.
It's like we've just gone on to mastermind with this.
Sorry, you know,
I'm going to be a lot more straightforward, which is if Johnny Sexton starts.
Let me put Ireland at the top.
No, I wasn't going to say that, actually. If Sexton starts in Cardiff, Ireland win the Slam. If Sexton's not fit, I'm not so confident.
There is a question still, and that's we talked about this earlier. Mike Brown missing from England. Should a squad be massively reliant on one player? It tends to happen whether we're talking football, rugby, or anything else. But that is.
I agree, it's not ideal, but he's a world-class fly half. Any team in the world would have been reliant.
But also, when your game plan revolves around his kicking, his tactical kicking, that's when it becomes. A player becomes more than just.
Can I just say I'm really looking forward to him not playing.
Let's take Sexton out of this. If he's not available, what's Ireland's plan B?
We're playing fantasy now.
You play Keatley or you play Madigan, who've both shown that they're perfectly capable. The other thing, we talked about Schmidt knowing players' roles. Schmidt would pass more responsibility onto Carney, most probably, in terms of being a leader. And he's capable of doing that.
You know what? He'd probably start with Keatley over Madigan.
Because he's playing fly half.
I want Madigan to play because I want to see Thor, Hibbard, smash him, and bigger.
Well, because I know what you mean. He's not a physically imposing.
He's not a physically. Sexton can take down many.
We mean that in jest, and obviously.
Obviously, not. I don't want any harm on any players. It's not like football. So,
when no harm comes to anyone.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Though Keatley's a fly half who can tackle as well.
Yeah, the thing is, for me, I want a weak fly half, physically weak fly half.